Hi Capricorn, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope. Thank you so much for being here. So your key to the week this week is the Emperor. Your boss, your husband, if you have one, or your significant other, if they present as more masculine or whatever the case may be, or a prominent, maybe authority figure in your life is likely to feature for you in some way, shape or form. Remember, the Emperor does tend to take on the more masculine, dominant, authoritative kind of energies in our lives, and when this card shows up for somebody who's married, it tends to show up as the husband or the most the more masculine sort of version of person that is in the relationship, if that makes sense. The other thing with this card as well, this is about you trying to find or navigate your own command on the environment and the resources that you have available to you. This might actually be a week where you are either having to pull rank or you're having to really stand your ground in some way. Now, last week we saw, it was you that was bringing the drama, and it's really great. And I have to say, I take my hat off to so many of you who shared your stories in the comments, who, kind of put your hand up and just said, look, you know what? Yes, I was the drama, and you just owned it, right? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what sign you are, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter where you're from. We're all at some point the drama. We're all at some point the toxic one. I'll put my hand up and own. I had many, especially in my history, right? There are moments where I look back and I'm like, oh, cringe. Raph, man. I'm glad I managed to get my shit together. All jokes aside, this week, just like you had to own your stuff then, this week it's like you're having to step up and say, no, a boundary is a boundary and I'm drawing a line for a reason. So this week, don't be surprised if there is something that comes up where you are having to pull rank, or at least kind of say, no, this isn't how things are going to progress from here on in. With that said, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your actions and options this week, you have the Six of Wands. Look at that, right? So that really is the best course of action for you this week, is to hold firm. Say what you feel. I've never met a Capricorn that didn't, right? But say what you feel, and more importantly, own and command the space. The other thing, because this is your actions card, this week it's like you can see a better way to do something. And rather than kind of stay passive and say, I don't want to be dramatic this week or whatever, it's like you're charging ahead to say, no, like this is the best way to get this done. It does suggest as well something that you have either asked for, that deep down in your guts you have more than bloody earned at this point. You're asking for it and you will get it, all right? So I'm very chuffed about this for you. In terms of the options that are available to you, this week you are going to have to check your daily routines in some regard. For your communications and conversations, you've got the King of Cups. So the King of Cups, who comes up with the Empress, the King of Cups is in your communications, conversations. What this suggests is that some of the conversations that you're having with a boss, a superior, maybe a high ticket client, etc., it goes really well because this person can see your point of view. So whatever you're arguing or whatever you're sharing, you're doing it in a way that it has the desired effect. The other thing is you are appealing to people's better natures this week, and you are also utilizing your own and therefore stimulating other people's emotional intelligence, which is sometimes really the best way to go. When it comes to your those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, whatever you're learning this week, and whatever you are, this week probably is a silly way to put it, but whatever you are, your focus of learning is at the moment, you're building a skill set or a repertoire that is going to go long, that goes beyond you. And this is something that you guys do very well anyway. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this is, I actually think, your boss or your superior sympathizing with you, and it's because you put up a front, it's because you stand your ground, it's because you don't sort of back down and just say, oh well, maybe that's the way. It's like no, like you're it's really strange. It's like the way that you're commanding the space, or the way that you're speaking on whatever it is that's coming up, is what allows you to connect to your boss on that human level. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, honestly, it's kind of like you can't really lose this week, right? People are understanding you. They see where you're coming from. They're sympathizing with you. And more importantly, they're aligned with the way that you see the world. It's rare that we have that, so I would use it to your advantage. For your love and relations, you have the World card. Oh, sorry, I almost forgot. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, especially with the Six of Wands, this could literally be that you are not so much like you're traveling, but it could be that you're taking like a road trip this week, just to kind of get a different perspective. It could also be for some of you, if you're retired, if you're no longer working, or if you're looking for work, you might be sitting in on something like on an unofficial capacity. So it's like you're going and, maybe you say to a friend, oh, I'd like to come to your job and see how things go. Or maybe you're coming into, a loved one's school, or whatever it is. It's like you're sitting in on something that maybe you wouldn't usually get privy to. And it's like you're seeing this, and it maybe fires something up in you in order to pursue a new goal. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, there's something here where your significant other, or your husband, or your other half, let's say, there's a real heart-to-heart that's happening this week that I actually think could really clear the air. What that clearing the air looks like for some of you will be different. Remember, the World card is a culmination, a completion, not necessarily an ending. It's usually the next level of something. So this could be where, if you're partnered and you've been partnered for a long time, maybe you get engaged. If you're already engaged, maybe you get married. Do you see what I mean? It's like something is going to that next level. If you're single and you're meeting somebody, I've got to say, not only is this person smart, powerful, wise, but they are also, potentially either quite wealthy or very well established out in the world. Like, you'll be able to see what this person has achieved. For your money and materials, you have the Hermit card. So really getting to grips with the finances and the resources this week. Paying a lot of attention to the money. Okay, where do we go from here? What does the plan look like? What can I do on my own, partnered or not? What can I do with my money for myself? This is you getting really clear on your resources and scrubbing them up. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the Hermit card for me, it very often rules, can rule healthcare professionals, usually people that approach health from a much more holistic point of view. You've got this underneath the King of Cups, which tends to be a therapist, healer, counselor of some sort. Then you've got the Emperor. So for a select few of you, maybe you're getting some insight from a doctor or a therapist, but this would be somebody who, even if, let's say, they're like a proper medical doctor, this is somebody who has a really good or very vast knowledge of herbal medicine, or, tends to see people more as a whole being rather than just, let's treat your symptoms and get that done. There's something here where it's like your healthcare professional is really going to work for you on multiple levels. So this could be really great. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, the Hermit, like literally you could just be spending time alone this week. Unless obviously you've got children, in which case you're never alone. I can't remember who it was. I think it was one of my sisters or one of my friends. So I was like, it must be nice to spend some time alone. And they were like, what time alone? If you got kids, you are never alone, right? Especially if they're like under 5, basically. But even still, right, this could literally be where you have some time to think. And by doing that, it might really help you focus on where your boundaries are and what you're needing to get clear on. So this is a moment of real sort of deep self-honesty, but also a moment of self-claiming, all right? With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.